So there's 60 books there. 60 unread books, and that's not even all of them. That's not even all my TBR books. I have another shelf over there which I haven't even counted. I'm gonna count. Okay, so the bookshelf over there has another 23 books on, so that's 83 books, plus I have a ton of books on this shelf here. I will insert a clip with also loads of unread books on, and I have 3 books currently on the go, so I must have over 100 books on my TBR, physical books in my room that are TBR. 100. That is sickening. I have a serious problem with that I get books quicker than I read them, although in my defense I literally just left my job where I was working at a bookshop, which meant that I constantly got free books, like art copies, proof copies, like sent by the publishers type of thing. So a lot of these, like, I didn't even buy. Plus I also got 50% off, so therefore a lot of these books were half price. A lot of the books over there, which are, some of them are like for collector reasons, like I collect Dickens books and Enid Blyton books, so there are, like, you know, double some copies, and a lot of them are like charity shop finds. They were like £2 or something. So okay, I'm gonna stop trying to justify myself. I'm just gonna get on with the premise of this video. So essentially what I'm gonna be doing is, because I really need to tackle this mound of TBR, I'm going to document, like, myself reading all these books, which that sounds really shit. But I guess it's gonna be one massive, like, reading vlog. I don't know how long it's gonna stretch over, maybe like a couple of weeks, couple of months, I don't know. I'm quite a slow reader, but I'm hoping this will encourage me to read quicker. I normally read like every day, but I also normally read about 3 books in one go. So I guess we should kick off with what I'm currently making my way through. I'm reading David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. This is how far I am. It's one hell. I don't think I've read a book as big as this before, so this is a big challenge for me. I'm actually really enjoying it. I found, like, Great Expectations, for example, quite hard to read. I find quite a lot of classics hard to read, and quite, like, the language is quite convoluted and complicated, and sometimes it's hard to understand. And I did find Great Expectations quite hard to understand, and I expected the same for this, but I actually am understanding this perfectly well, and I'm really enjoying it so far. But whenever I'm reading classics, for the reasons I just mentioned about how it can be complicated and convoluted, I always read a book alongside it, so I don't kind of get myself into a reading slump, or so I don't get bored, because obviously sometimes the thought of reading a book that's making your brain work, like, really hard is kind of off-putting, and then you kind of don't want to read, sort of thing. So I'm reading The Invention of Hugo Cabret. So this is like a really quick book to read, which I know it doesn't look like it, but it's actually told in both prose and sort of like graphic novel illustrations type vibe. So I think it's like 280 pages worth of prose and the rest illustrations. So I feel like this will actually be a fairly quick read. Also, I read those 100 pages literally last night within like half an hour because I couldn't stop reading. It was so good. I'm obsessed with this already, and I'm not even that far in. So yeah, I'm reading that one alongside. Oh my god, I almost went off balance then. I've had too much tea. I've got caffeine, like, making me... This is why I don't drink coffee, because if I drank coffee, I think I would take off. Anyway, the other one I'm reading is The Mystery of Charles Dickens. This is obviously a non-fiction, which is why it's got annotations in it. I always like to have a non-fiction on the go, but a non-fiction, again, similar to classics, I'll always be reading like a non-fiction and a fiction at the same time, because I'm not a massive non-fiction fan. Like, it's not what I love to read, and therefore sometimes if I'm just reading it, I can get into a bit of a slump. And yeah, that is currently what I'm reading. I imagine I will be reading David Copperfield for the rest of the year, to be honest, but I'm hoping I'll start to get through after Hugo. I can move on and literally start working my way through this. Will just keep like updating this video with clips of me reading and what I'm moving on to, and if I like the book or not, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, this is a little bit different from my channel. Normally I do writing based videos, but this is more sort of focused on reading, and I hope you like it. Do you know what? That was so good. Like, just finished The Invention of Hugo Cabret. It was so lovely. Like, it didn't take much time to read because it's like half pictures, half words. But the story was so good. The way it's written is beautiful. The like illustrations, like look at this. Like what? Like I would have that on my wall. Do you know what I mean? Like that's, yeah, beautiful. Like oh my gosh, that's definitely 5 stars. Okay, so it's 1:15 in the morning. I don't know if, is that gonna focus? No, but I don't know why you wouldn't believe me. Yeah, it's 1:15 in the morning. I can't sleep, so I've been reading, and I finished The Mysterious History of... The Mysterious... What the fuck is the book called? The Mystery of Charles Dickens, this one. I just finished it. These are all the, like, you know, notes that I made. It was okay. The third half doesn't make any sense. Can you tell it's 1 AM? The last third kind of lost me a bit. And yeah, so I prefer biographies that are like written in chronological order of like the person's life, and this wasn't. This was literally just jumping around of different mysteries in his life. The bit that I found most interesting was like his marriage and his like relationships and his childhood. Everything else was like a little bit more, but it was okay. I gave it a 3 star out of 5 on Goodreads. And yeah, I'm gonna go to bed soon, hopefully. But I'm gonna start on this one, which is Neil Gaiman at the Ocean at the End of the Lane. I've not read much Neil Gaiman, but what I have read of his I loved. This lighting is awful. What I have read I really liked, so I'm excited to give this a go. So it's the 8th of September, and the Queen has literally just died. Was not expecting that, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the second they announced that she was under medical supervision, I think everyone in England was like, okay, she's obviously gonna die. But I was not expecting it. up until that point. And I didn't expect to feel so kind of like sad. Like, I'm not a royalist and I don't actually really believe in having a monarchy, but there is still something sad about it, and I guess it's because she's always been like kind of like a staple, permanent part of like British culture. Like, for a lot of people she's always been there, if that makes sense, and now she's not, and it's just, yeah, it's strange. I didn't think I would feel as sort of solemn as I do, but yeah. So yeah, the Queen died today. But I was just gonna do a little reading update. So I finished this one, Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I actually didn't like it very much. I wanted to like it more than I did, so I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I just got a little bit lost at times, and yeah, didn't really connect with the main character as much as I would have liked as well. So yeah, gave that one a 3 out of 5, and I am now reading Cersei. So, firstly, I've had about 3 hairstyle changes in this video, which probably is going to look really jarring, and the continuity is going to be like ridiculous, but little update, I had to DNF Cersei, which I'm gutted because I really thought I was going to enjoy it, because I loved Song of Achilles, but I just didn't like it. I had about 100 pages left, so I know it's not that many, but I was like skimming it, I was bored, and yeah, so I DNF'd it. Beautifully written though. Madeline Miller is a really talented writer. Just not my cup of tea. That made me want to read another Percy Jackson book, because I love Percy Jackson and Greek mythology and all that, so I'm reading the first Heroes of Olympus book. And I also read the first volume of this. This is volume 1 and 2 of Death Note, and I read the first one the other day, so yeah, I'm also reading that. This morning I finished Heroes of Olympus, The Lost Hero. I actually really liked it. I don't get why, because before I read this I saw like on TikTok lots of people like saying that Jason is like a really boring character and that people just like skip his POV, but I really liked him. Maybe he gets more boring in the series, but I thought he was really interesting, so no hate here for Jason. And I love Leo. Like, I was worried that there would be like a hole missing because Grover is not in the book, and Grover's my favourite, Grover and Nico, but Leo definitely filled that hole. Leo's fantastic. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Now, as it's October and it is the spooky season, I'm obviously going to be reading spooky books. So I'm starting with The Midnight Club, which is only small, so I'm hoping I can read it pretty quickly, because this is coming to Netflix this month and I want to read the source material before I watch the show. So yeah, I'm going to read this one, and then Meddling Kids, which is the main one that I'm looking forward to because just the plot sounds really, really, really cool. But that is like a fairly big one with like small text, so that might take me the rest of the month because I am a slow reader. But if it doesn't, then I do also have this one, which is 8 Rivers of Shadow, by Leo Hunt, which is the sequel to 13 something of Midnight. I can't think what it's called. 13 Days of Midnight, I think, which is about a necromancer, and if you know me, you know that I love ghosts. So if I can squeeze that one in, then I will. And I also have a Miss Peregrine's, which I always read Miss Peregrine's in October, but it always takes me like the whole month, and I don't want to, you know, only read one book this month. I have too many spooky books to read, so these are the 3 we're aiming for. We'll see how it goes. So yeah. This was so bad. I literally was so excited to read this. I literally, like, I'm here in like a snuggy blanket. I've like got my candle, reading by candlelight, because I thought, yeah, like spooky vibes, good way to start off this spooky season. Listen to this blurb, right? In a hospice for terminally ill adolescents, 5 young people meet every evening at midnight to share terrifying stories. Some are invented, some are true. The strangest are somewhere between the two. The club members make a pact. Whoever dies first will try to contact the others from beyond the grave. The most incredible of their stories is about to begin. That sounds amazing. Like, doesn't that sound so cool? It's not. Like, the thing is, this book's got like rave reviews, so, you know, it might be your cup of tea, but I'm a lover of anything like supernatural. So I like saw the stuff about scary stories and, you know, dying. Sounds kind of morbid, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be about ghosts, this is cool. It's not. It's not supernatural really till the very end, and literally about 3/4 of the book, I'm not even kidding, about this much of the book is just these like terrifying stories which aren't even terrifying. They're not even scary, they're just stories, and they're like, I'm just reading it like, this is so boring. So yeah, really big disappointment, and I'm so sad I've just kicked off spooky season with this book, but whatever. I'm glad it only took me literally 1 day to read, so I can move on quickly to Meddling Kids. Okay. Oh! My camera's balanced on a tin of red kidney beans in the kitchen cupboard, so cheers to that. So I just finished, yesterday when I was outside reading, I finished The City of Ember. I did actually really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars out of 5 on my Goodreads. I don't even know if I've plugged my Goodreads yet in this video, but you can find me on Goodreads. I do like little reviews of the books I read, and I love doing the challenges. Really nice book to read around this time of year. I don't know why, but just the whole kind of like the darkness of the city that they live in, and the vibes just give off like this time of year when it's getting really dark really early. My house isn't on fire. I know it looks like it is with all the steam. It's because I'm cooking, so yeah. Anyway, next I'm going to read the book of Stolen Dreams by David Farr. So I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. I just love the cover. I thought it looked kind of Christmassy, and as we are approaching December, I feel like this is a good one to go for. So I just read the introduction to this book, and the final sentence of the introduction is as follows. The man is slight, dressed in a shabby suit that no longer fits him. In his left hand he carries a battered violin case wrapped in a blanket, and unless Rachel Klein is very much mistaken, he seems to have a penguin on his head. What? Like, what on earth? But also I'm so intrigued. I love penguins. I'm hooked.